This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Precisely 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. The Prime Minister says the country may face a hard time in the next 3 weeks. Cabinet granted approval to import fertilizer for the Maha season. Overseas job opportunities for government employees registration open. Sri Lanka's tsunami early warning systems to be tested today. Foreign Minister to visit Singapore to attend Asia Security Summit. World Bank warns of recession risk due to Ukraine war. In foreign news, Mariupol defenders' bodies arrived in Kiev. In sports, Australia beat Sri Lanka by 10 wickets at the first T20 International. We move on to local news in detail now. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, in a special statement to Parliament yesterday, cautioned that next 3 weeks will be difficult time to obtain fuel and gas. He appealed to the public not to stock gas and fuel and added that in view of the current situation, the people should take steps to restrict their non-essential travel. The Prime Minister said the country needs $500 million per month for fuel and $3,300 million is needed to find fuel for the next 6 months. He said it should be kept in mind that the current global crisis risks raising oil prices, and some estimate that global oil prices will rise by as much as 40% by the end of this year in the face of strong global demand. He also said it costs $40 million a month to import gas, and the country requires $250 million over the next 6 months for gas. The Premier said economic reforms alone are not enough to rebuild a country. At the same time, socio-political and public service reforms are needed. He added that the country must set aside its traditional political ideologies and make a concerted effort to rebuild the country. The responsibility for resolving the current situation in the country rests on the shoulders of the people's representatives in this House, the Premier said. Cabinet had approved to import 150,000 metric tons of urea, 45,000 metric tons of muriate of potash and 36,000 metric tons of triple super phosphate fertilizer for paddy cultivation in 2022-2023 Maha season. Ceylon Fertilizer Company Limited and Colombo Commercial Fertilizer Company Limited are to import the relevant quantities of fertilizer and distribute them to the farmers. Minister of Foreign Employment Manusha Nanayakkara has launched a program to offer overseas job opportunities to employees in the public sector. Issuing a special notice, Minister Nanayakkara urged employees in the public sector seeking overseas employment to register with the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment's official website. He further said requests have already been made from foreign recruitment agencies to send information on appropriate job opportunities from their overseas clients. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news.
Digital accounts can now be opened in 10 minutes. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
Continuing with more stories here at home. The efficiency of the tsunami early warning systems installed at national level institutions and in coastal districts will be tested today. The Disaster Management Centre said the tests will be conducted between 11:30 a.m. and 12:15 p.m. The DMC said the functions of the tsunami communication system will only be tested while evacuation rehearsals will not take place. Minister of Foreign Affairs Professor G.L. Peiris will travel to Singapore for a bilateral visit from 8th to 9th June 2022 on the invitation of his counterpart Minister of Foreign Affairs of Singapore Vivian Balakrishnan. During his visit, Minister Peiris will hold bilateral discussions with Foreign Minister Balakrishnan and meetings with the Minister of Finance Lawrence Wong, Minister for Law and Minister for Home Affairs K. Shanmugam, and other senior officials. Following the visit, Minister Peiris will take part in the 19th IISS Shangri-La Dialogue Asia Security Summit from 10th to 11th June, the ministry said. The minister will be representing the President of Sri Lanka at the Security Summit. The IISS Shangri-La Dialogue is Asia's premier security summit and will focus on issues of security cooperation and challenges in the Asia-Pacific region. Minister Peiris will take part in the ministerial roundtables. That's local news for the moment.
Debit card, mobile and internet banking along with cardless cash facilities can now be opened in just 10 minutes with no form filling with People's Bank Digital Banking.
Thank you very much for letting me know. It took less time than finishing my morning cup of tea.
People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on the main news story, Sri Lanka's ambassador to Russia, Professor Janita Abevikramalyanage, said that it was a great diplomatic achievement for Sri Lanka to be able to quickly resolve the issue of the detention of a Russian Aeroflot aircraft in Sri Lanka. As the Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia, she expressed her gratitude to all the ministers, members of parliament, attorney general, officials and airport authorities who took immediate action in this regard. Lianage pointed out that Russia is a very important country for Sri Lanka in all respects. Meanwhile, the fiscal officer of the Colombo Commercial High Court has been suspended over mishandling judicial proceedings in relation to the Aeroflot flight that was detained in Sri Lanka. The individual is charged with abusing the judicial process when enforcing the interim order. The suspension has been ordered by the Ministry of Justice, Prison Affairs and Constitutional Reforms. The ministry has also recommended that the Chief Justice take action against the attorney involved in the incident.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watchlight, Litro Gas Company says there will be no distribution of domestic LP gas cylinders today. However, Litro Gas Lanka Limited says that they will be receiving a shipment of LP gas soon and the distribution of domestic gas cylinders will resume in a few days. That's on Watchlight. Moving on to World News. Mariupol defenders' bodies arrived in Kyiv. Migrant caravan heads to US as Key Summit begins. 2 new shipwrecks found off Colombian coast. We move on to world news in detail now. The bodies of some Ukrainian fighters killed defending the key southeastern port of Mariupol have now arrived in Kyiv, the soldiers' families say. They say this was part of a swap with Russia, with each side receiving 160 bodies. Moscow has not commented. On the Ukrainian side, more than 50 bodies were those of members of the Azov regiment, the families say. The Ukrainians were holed up in the Azovstal steelworks for weeks. In May, the survivors were taken prisoner. Thousands of migrants are headed to the US-Mexican border in a caravan timed to coincide with a meeting of Western Hemisphere leaders in Los Angeles. Some 6,000 people, including many from Venezuela and Central America, have begun walking from the southern tip of Mexico north as part of a caravan. Migration is among the top issues on the agenda at the Summit of the Americas. The caravan may be one of the largest in recent years. The group's organizers say it is made up of people who are fleeing instability, violence and poverty in their home countries. Finally, on world news, Colombian naval officials monitoring a sunken Spanish ship laden with treasure have discovered 2 other historical shipwrecks nearby, President Ivan Duque has announced. The San Jose galleon was sunk by the British in 1708 near Colombia's Caribbean port of Cartagena. The wreckage was located in 2015. It has been described as the holy grail of shipwrecks, as the ship was carrying one of the largest amounts of valuables ever to have been lost at sea. That's on World News. Moving on to development news. People's Leasing and Finance PLC has once again created history by concluding the financial year 2021-2022 with a record-breaking profit after tax of 4.66 billion rupees, the highest profit the company has recorded ever since its inception in 1996. The profit after tax has witnessed a remarkable year-on-year growth of 15.5%, with the profit before taxes recorded as 6.65 billion rupees, representing impressive year-on-year growth of 13.2%. Chief Executive Officer Shamindra Masalin said, "Our groundbreaking financial performance during the FY 2021-2022 is a reflection for employee commitment, alignment of strategies to address stakeholder concerns, and restatement of policies and procedures to ensure a conducive operating environment."
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
And on sports news, the openers skipper Aaron Finch and David Warner made an unbroken 138 runs partnership as Australia grabbed a comfortable 10 wickets victory over Sri Lanka in their rain-hit first T20 game played at R. Premadas International Cricket Stadium yesterday. Finch scored 61 in 40 balls with 4 fours and 4 sixes, while Warner hit 70 in 44 balls with 9 fours to seal their easy victory to get 1-0 series lead. Sri Lankans were disappointed at this game with poor performance from all three departments. This is Sri Lanka's heaviest defeat at home. 50 minutes lost during the Australian innings due to rain, but match resumed without any over reduction. Josh Hazlewood was named as the man of the match for his fine bowling spell.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The days of hunting through cables to find the right charger may be coming to an end. The European Union has provisionally agreed new portable electronic devices must, by autumn 2024, use a USB Type-C charger. But under the current post-Brexit arrangements, the European Union ruling would apply to Northern Ireland, according to EU and UK officials. Apple products such as iPhones and iPads will have to conform to the new regulation, as will eventually laptop computers. Existing devices will be exempt.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, countries around the world are facing recession as the Ukraine war hits economies already rocked by the COVID pandemic, the World Bank has warned. Less developed countries in Europe and East Asia face a major recession, it said. The high risk of inflation and low growth, so-called stagflation, is also higher, World Bank President David Malpass said. Energy and food bills have been rising around the world.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
And on the weather update, several spells of showers will occur in western Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Gaul and Matara districts. Fairly strong winds, about 40 km per hour, can be expected at times in northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. That's the weather update, and before we conclude this bulletin of news, back to the headlines. The Prime Minister says the country may face a hard time in the next 3 weeks. Cabinet granted approval to import fertilizer for the Maha season. Overseas job opportunities for government employees registration open. Sri Lanka's tsunami warning systems to be tested today. Foreign Minister to visit Singapore to attend Asia Security Summit. World Bank warns a recession risk due to Ukraine war. In foreign news, Mariupol defenders' bodies arrived in Kiev. In sports, Australia beat Sri Lanka by 10 wickets at the first T20 International. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.